Hey guys, it's Miss Escamilla. I'm so glad that you're watching the video today, and I'm proud of all of you that worked very hard on completing the homework yesterday as well. We are going to continue talking about units of time and comparing units of time and converting units of time. So today we're going to practice a little bit more together, and then I am going to expect you to complete a few problems by yourself. And you'll need to turn those problems into me tomorrow at the beginning of math class. So we're going to look at page 567. It's the homework and practice page. And for questions 1 through 4, we're going to be making some conversions of time. So for example, on number 1, if we have 9 weeks and we want to know how many days that equals, we are going to be converting weeks into days. And so being able to do that requires you to use this chart over here on the right hand side. It's called units of time. And since we're converting weeks and days, I need to look for the weeks and days on the chart. And so I notice that in 1 week there's 7 days. And so because we're converting from weeks, which is a larger unit, to days, which is a smaller unit of time, our strategy is to multiply. So that means if there's 7 days in 1 week, then in 9 weeks, we would need to multiply 9 weeks by the 7 days that's in each one of those weeks, and that gives us 63. So there are 63 days in 9 weeks. Okay, let's talk about years and months. If years is a larger unit than a month, so therefore again we would multiply to make this conversion. So I notice that over here there are 12 months in 1 year. So that means if I have 4 years, I need to multiply the 12 months that are in 1 year by the 4 years in our problem. And 12 times 4 gives me 48. So 48 months is equal to 4 years. Okay. Now if I want to convert minutes to seconds, again, minutes are a larger unit of time than seconds. So again, we would be multiplying. So I know that in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So therefore, if I have 5 minutes, I would want to multiply the 60 seconds that are in 1 minute with the 5 minutes in our problem. And I know that using mental math, 6 times 5 is 30. Add my 0, and that equals 300 seconds. So in 5 minutes, there are 300 seconds. Okay. Now I want to convert days to hours. Okay, don't let it confuse you just because the blank is over here in the front of the equal sign instead of after the equal sign. We're still converting, we're still making a conversion. We're still converting a larger unit of time, days, to a smaller unit of time, which would be hours. And that would be using our multiplication strategy. So I know that in 1 day, there's 24 hours. So therefore, if we have 3 days, I would need to take the 24 hours that are in 1 day, multiply it by our 3 days, okay? And that gives us, so 24 and 24 make 48, another 24 would make 72. So there are 72 hours in 3 days, okay? Okay, on 5, 6, 7, 8, we're still making conversions, but we're making conversions in order to compare amounts of time. So if I want to compare 50 hours to 2 days, I can't really do this until both units of measurement are the same. So we have hours and days. So I need to either make this days and to be the same as this, or I need to make this hours to be the same as this. To me personally, it's easier to take days and turn them into hours. So I know I'm going to take these days and I'm going to convert them into hours. So if I want to convert days into hours, again, that's taking a larger unit and converting it into a smaller unit of time because days are larger than hours. So I need to come over here to my chart again, and I know that in 1 day there's 24 hours. So if I have 2 days in which there's 24 hours in each of those days, so 2 times 24 equals 48. Okay, and that represents 48 hours. And now I can make my comparison. I can compare 50 hours now to 48 hours. And I know that 50 hours is greater than 48 hours. Okay, I'm going to do one more of those. Let's compare some minutes and seconds. Okay, we're going to compare 3 minutes to 200 seconds. I know that I'm going to go ahead and convert my minutes into seconds to make this easier to compare, to make both my units of time the same. And I know that because minutes are greater than seconds, I'm going to be converting from a larger to a smaller unit again, which our strategy would be to multiply. So I know that in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. Therefore, if I have 3 minutes, I would need to multiply the 3 minutes by the 60 minutes that are in each one of 60 seconds that are in each one of those minutes. And again, I'm going to use my mental math. 3 times 6 is 18. Add that 0, make it 180. So that's 180 seconds. Okay, so 3 minutes is equal to 180 seconds, which I know is less than 200 seconds. Okay. All right, and then of course, once we learn how to do the basic skill, we're obviously going to have to apply that into some problem solving. We're going to have to be able to read a problem, a real world problem, and see how we can use our skill in order to solve that problem. Okay, so it's kind of taking it to that next step. So let's take a look at our first problem, and it's actually a multi-step. It says that it takes Emily 40 minutes to drive to a football game. I'm going to underline that because that's important information, an important number to know. It takes Mark 1 hour and 15 minutes longer. Okay, so that means it takes him 1 hour and 15 minutes longer than what Emily drives to get to that football game. How many minutes does it take Mark to drive to the football game? So I'm going to box this because this is our I need statement. This is what we need to find out. I need to find out how many minutes does it take Mark to drive to the football game. Okay, so what do I know? I know that it takes Emily 40 minutes to drive to the game, and it takes Mark 1 hour and 15 minutes longer than her. So in order to find out how many minutes it takes him, I know that his amount of time has to be this amount of time plus 40 minutes more than his time, because it takes him this much more time. We're going to have to take his amount of time and add it to her amount of time, because it takes him this much more time than her in order to get there. So first I need to find out how long Mark actually drove for. And so I noticed that it says that he drove for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay. So I noticed that I have 2 different units of measurement. He drove for 1 hour and he drove for 15 minutes. And I want to compare that to her 40 minutes. So that hour right there kind of sticks out as funny to me because it's a different unit of time and measurement. We need to make that the same as the other units of time. We used minutes here and here. So in 1 hour, I know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So this 1 hour that he drove, I'm just going to cross it out and I'm going to write 60 minutes. It means the same thing. Okay. So he really drove 60 minutes and another 15 minutes. So together, I'm going to combine those, and I know that that equals 75 minutes. So he drove for 75 minutes, but that's not how long he drove. Remember, that says that's how much longer he drove than Emily's time. So therefore, I need to take his 75 minutes and add that to her time, which was 40 minutes. And that equals 115 minutes. So Mark drove for 115 minutes. Okay. All right, in our second problem, it's about Brandon. He was on vacation for 2 weeks and 1 day, and he spent the same amount of time with each of his 3 brothers. How many days did he spend with each brother? Okay, so the question's asking us to find out how many days he spent with each brother. How many days? So our unit of measurement that we answer in needs to be in days. Okay, but it tells us that he was on vacation for 2 weeks and a day. And he spent an equal amount of time with each one of his 3 brothers. Okay, so if I want to know how many days he spent with each brother, I first need to look at how much time he was there for and determine how much time that is in days. So I noticed that it says that he was on vacation for 2 weeks and 1 day. Well, let's find out how many days that is, because weeks and days are different units of measurement. I need to make them both the same. So I know that in 1 week, that's the same as 7 days. So if I have 2 weeks, there's 7 days in 1 week, and he's there for 2 weeks. So 7 times 2 is 14. So that's 14 days, plus the other day that he stayed. So 14 days plus the 1 day extra that he stayed equals 15 days. So he was there for 15 days. And in that 15 days, he spent an equal amount of time with his 3 brothers. He shared his time with his brothers. And so we know, we've talked a lot in class about when we share, that's division. We're dividing. So he shared his 15 days with his 3 brothers. So that would be 15 divided by 3. Well, 3 can go into 15 5 times, evenly. No remainder. So the answer would be that he spent 5 days with each of his brothers. Okay? I hope that helps you. For homework tonight, you are going to work on page 568, but you are not going to do all 6 problems. You are going to pick 4. You're only going to pick 4 of your choice. Okay? Good luck. Work hard, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.